Casey Nix Phase 2, the Saturday morning meeting, PK52, CHR, Coupe Rider. All right, let's talk about safety. First of all, distracted drivers. I know, and you know, and everybody knows, when I text, it's okay. But if I'm passing somebody that keeps coming my lane and they're texting, well, that's not okay. So it's kind of funny how we make our rules out there, who can text and who can't. But let's talk about it. So first thing we have is, I'm not reaching up on the controls in my audio system anymore, because once I start driving this car, a lot of that stuff goes dark. But they built into the system voice activation. So I can change overall my genre of music, of my playlist, by just simply speaking to the system. I think that is freaking brilliant. The next thing is, we added Star Safety System, and we're walking away from talking about that. I know we have all the technology, we'll talk in a second, but a 4-channel ABS, gang, that's brakes on every wheel. That means no matter what road surface you are, or one wheel's on something and the other wheel's on nothing, all of a sudden the car stops, more revolutionary. And because of that 4-channel ABS, that means brake assist is better. Obviously, brake assist is going to move the braking prowess to the wheels that have the best grip or the best ability to stop. If you're an empty car by yourself and you hammer the brakes, obviously all the weight goes forward. Brake assist takes it there. If you load up the back of this thing, because it's got an area, you fold down the seats and load a bunch of stuff in there, then it would regulate the brakes between the front and the back. It also has a lateral gravitational sensor, so if I'm turning hard to the left, the outside wheels are loaded up. It has the ability to move the braking to the outside. So that's amazing driving characteristics for a smaller coupe. On top of that, then we have vehicle stability control. Gang, no matter where you're driving, you've gone into a turn too fast, there's been a little bit of rain on the road, and you all of a sudden hear that car go beep, 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 beep. What it just said was, it should give you an audio. Woo! Man, the car just saved your life. You can thank us later. Man, I love these safety features that are stacked in this car. Along with brake assist, along with traction control and smart stop. But then we start spending money. That's right, we start spending money. On a car that's got a brake price point about $24,000, then you start adding stuff like pre-collision and pre-collision with pedestrian. Let's talk about pedestrian. So from 7 miles an hour to 50 miles an hour, if somebody walks into the road and you're looking down, I don't know, what are you doing? Texting, or maybe you were just asleep, whatever you were doing, or looking at a building, all of a sudden the car beeps at you and immediately arms brake assist and starts to stop the car. If you don't get to the brakes, it can completely stop the car, and then if it does, then it holds that car in place for around 2 seconds before it releases this system again for you to drive the car. So, I don't know, you're driving at night, the camera on the pedestrian can see night as day. I've given you this example a bunch of times. When you're watching a golf tournament, like one of the Masters, like maybe the Masters or the PGA tournament, the last group of the day comes in and it's dark at the golf course. But they keep opening the iris of the camera so that it grabs the ambient light, and on TV it looks like they're still playing at noon, when in reality it's extremely dark outside. Well, the car can see like an owl, or the car can see like the camera on a golf course. So you never saw that kid run out in front of you, but the car did, and immediately warned you and started to stop the car. I got to tell you, whether it's your child or somebody else's child, the time the car saves that child's life is when the car becomes priceless. I said priceless. On top of that, we have dynamic radar cruise control. So if I'm going down the highway, now I can set the cruise control in 3 different settings, and I can drive using the cruise control. If somebody pulls into my lane, it will regulate me to the distance I've set until they move away, and then I'll take off again. Guys, man, make sure the customers understand all of this and how this works. Lane departure, which would have been enough. That's enough. Just an audible warning if I cross over a yellow or a white stripe or dotted stripe. But it's not. It's lane departure and lane assist. So now it can assist the steering in bringing you back. You know, when you start putting these Lexus upgrade safety technologies in a car that virtually everybody in America can afford, that's when people start talking about Toyota again. That's when everything is real. So what I'm saying to you guys on PK52 is, practice your speech, practice your technology, practice your delivery with a customer. Because remember, once you've studied these features, you have a good idea of how it works. But you have to articulate that to somebody that's never even considered that there's something out there like this before. Practice your pace. It's just like this. And I'm telling a lot of people around the nation, if you go to a baseball game early, if you get there real early, they're taking batting practice. In my opinion, they should have practiced a long time before, right before the game. It may be too late. But they have to practice. That's part of the skill. Batting practice. They take infield practice, and the outfielders take fly balls. Our skill, the skill that we possess as a salesperson, is presenting something so that somebody can understand it enough so the value becomes equal to selling price. That's just the actual basics. I know some of you are out there starting your video series. You're out there with the new CHR and go, hey, brand new to Toyota, this is Casey. I wanted to send this out to everybody that follows me on Facebook. Here are 5 things that you guys are going to really geek out about how cool this car is. And do that video until it's perfect and send it out to your people. Who knows who in the family is ready for the new cutting edge car? Last thing I'll say about this is we're not done yet, man. We are not done. Here comes Camry, baby. Oh, I'm about to start to sweat right now. It is so gorgeous. The great thing about launching something that's total revolutionary, totally new, never looks like anything before is some people are going to hate it. They're going to hate it. Oh, I don't like the way that looks. And they're going to dig the remaining 17s and the certified 16s, 15s, and 14s, man. We are going to have a great fourth quarter this year. And I'm not going to lie to you. I am never going to stop talking about it. Supra is coming. Collaboration with BMW. I've already told you about the horsepower. 400 big, bam, horsepower on a BMW chassis, baby. We got a lot of stuff coming that's going to drive people in the front door of your dealership. Listen, this should be your biggest revenue and the most fun year you've ever had in the car business. Remember, the bigger you make it, the bigger it is. This is PK52, the Saturday Morning Meeting.